But look, Will, let's get into it. Let's start with this. The offense. Look, I'm going to take Siebert off of the offense because he's a kicker. He's special teams. Brian Robinson and Austin Ekeler. That is my excitement for this offense. I love what they're doing. I love the fact that we ran the flipping ball this way and that. I love that we continue to get the ball to our backs out of the backfield. Getting Austin Ekeler, we thought this was going to be this way, and it is actually absolutely one of the best moves I think we made, and he is showing out for these first two games. I love every minute of it, Will. I'm going to send it to you on that one because I'm excited about that, and I don't want to damper down. I'm going to send it to you. What do you think, man?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've seen right now the identity. Nathan, you paying attention? I just said your buzzword. The identity of our team is going to be through our running backs, whether it's through the handoffs, whether it's through hitting them on screens. And they were featured very heavily, and they did what we needed them to do. I mean, like you're saying, Brian Robinson ran hard for another game. I was so excited to see that. You know, when he got stopped in the middle of the field, he kept his legs churning. He saw there was an opening, and he busted 30 more yards down the field. I mean, I got hyped during it. Austin Ekeler, he continues to take short throws and turn them into 25-yard gains.
Yes.
He's doing it with, he was doing it running too. The draw play he had that he ran down under the 5-yard line, so he continues to show he's got it. The little swing pass to him out, Cliff waited. What a great design play where Cliff had everybody going right and he allowed the running back to slip out to the left and Jaden just turned and flipped it and he had the whole field to him. So this is going to help out a young quarterback. We talked about all the time, what can you do to make life easier for Jaden to not make it so confusing? Because you saw in the beginning of the game, all the Giants were doing were having him go in his F it, I'm running it mode. So by getting the running backs involved, both running and passing, it just made his life easier. So the offense opened up in the second half. And so I love seeing what those backs did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And to your point about getting open, Ertz got some action. But what have we been crying about the last couple of weeks? Get Terry McLaurin the ball. They did that early, first play of the game. They did it often. He got 6 receptions. But Will, 22 yards? I mean, I feel like we need Ab here to be like, see, we told you, possession receiver. That's what it is. So, I mean, can we be excited that they gave him more targets, even though it wasn't for anything?
No, exactly. Not at all. Like 6 for 22 is not getting it done.
No.
I mean, that is, yeah. And there were a couple times they targeted him. Deontay Banks made a really nice play on a deep slant and stuff like that. But I was expecting a little bit more from Terry this season. And it is the second week. But yeah, we're going to need a little bit more out of our best receiver for both his side and Cliff's side and finding ways to get him open.
Oh yeah. So what other positives do you have for the offense, Will? What are you looking at?
So we saw what we've been hearing come to fruition, that besides Terry, the next best weapons is going to be Zach Ertz. And early on, he was that move the chains guy that they wanted. The announcers, it was really funny, were joking with him about, he's not really going to break a lot once he catches it. He's pretty much going to catch it and go down these days in his age. But he was getting first downs or he was drawing penalties to get the first down. So he was a difference maker. He was being that safety valve for Jaden. So I thought that was huge. And then, listen, man. I'm just going to say it. We got our guy at QB. Like, I am so excited watching him. I'm really calm back there watching him because he looks calm. Yes. Do you remember when we drafted Patrick Ramsey and how his feet would be tapping the entire time he was in the pocket and then he'd throw it? And he had an arm, but he just looked so scared in there where JD5 just sits there, and there was some negatives. In the beginning, he ran the ball too much.
Yes.
And when he got popped, that was concerned because he got hit by a helmet right in the ribs. And I thought, oh gosh, I mean, this could be a broken rib. He could be out for weeks now because of this. Thank goodness he wasn't. But then he was able to open up. I mean, we had 425 yards of offense. We moved the ball in the Giants.
We did.
We talked about how in 2 games now, we've 16 drives and 12 of them have been in scoring opportunities. A couple of those against the Bucks. So maybe I'll say 10 of 16, but we are moving the ball on offense and giving us a chance. So that's some of the stuff that I like. What about you?
Hey, it looks far better than it has in the last couple of years. And look, you'd be a fool not to say that this does look so much more crisp, so much more. We have so much more confidence in it because even some of the passes are like, okay, quick screen to Diami. Look at him. Takes a 2-yard pass, 5 or 6 yards, Eckler hitting the dump downs. It does make you feel good. And when he takes off, you are kind of like, here we go. Hold on to your seats for the injury factor, but also for the fact that it's like, oh, this guy can take it. This guy can take it. And look, that first drive, 2nd and 7, free blitzer right up to him, jumps on his back, and you're like, oh my God, he's down. He breaks it, doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage, but still scrambles out and survives. And you're just like, we got it. Yeah. You're like, we definitely got it. Later on the drive, it's that 3rd and 10, where on one side, we'll discuss this, it's a quick one look, and then he decides to run. And then he has it, and there's 2 guys there, and you're like, oh, snap, just go out of bounds. And he does a little shimmy step, and both guys go, and you're like, okay, he can get the first down. I mean, it's Madden type stuff. It's like, yes, this guy, oh, my God, it is. But we got to we'll talk about the negatives. But, I love from 20 to 20, we're going. I mean, and now especially that we've gotten that running game going, so much so that I love the fact that he only had 43 yards on 10 carries. He wasn't having almost 20 carries and having to rely on him. We relied on that run game. He did get it out to a couple more receivers. He did get it out to a bunch of guys, and I love that. And that's where I'll be. The line gave him the necessary time. The line was moving the ball for our run game. I mean, we looked. The score and how things kind of fell apart in the red zone, it wasn't indicative of how good we did look at times in this game. So, I mean, what do you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing where, all right, so we only put up 21 points. We didn't get a single touchdown, but we had 400 yards of offense. Yeah. We had over 200 yards rushing, I'm pretty sure. At 133. Yeah, we had over 200 yards rushing. I mean, that's exactly how we want to play. The new guy, Noah Brown, came in and caught a crucial 34-yard catch to set up the field goal. We spread the ball around in that second half. I feel like Jaden, after he got popped, it almost was sort of like, okay, I can't keep doing this.
Yep.
I need to start throwing the ball. And he did. And by doing that, he got his guys involved, and they were open. And so maybe this continues to be some of his evolution of it. But we really were moving the ball. And I will say this one thing. This is a little bit of me being too much of a fan. I wonder, I've heard this, and I can kind of, I'm going to jump on board with this idea. Were we careful in the red zone because we knew we could get 3? Okay. Knowing that the Giants couldn't get 3 points. They had to score. So it was our mindset of 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. As long as you're getting something, you're making it more challenging on them. And so it's like, if they did have a kicker, would they have been able to, would we have been a little bit more aggressive with our calls in the red zone to get in the end zone? Whereas it was more like, let's run some plays, let's try. But if we don't make it, we're not going to give up an interception because we know we got 3 in our back pocket.
Well, so yes, I definitely think that we definitely did kind of sit back. Almost, in college, Kentucky, where you're not doing anything to mess it up. We're gonna go as far as this game plan takes us, and hopefully we'll do just enough to win. And I think that was like that. Now, on the flip side, and we'll talk about this in the negatives, we had a lot of 4th and 1s where somebody jumped or somebody, with some penalty or something that brought it back, and it threw us out to where it was now you have a 4th and 6, and albeit in the red zone, you're like, this kind of forces your hand. You know what I mean? Because we did try to go for it. I think in that first drive, we went for it on 4th and 1 and gave it to Brian Robinson. He ended up busting and getting a couple yards. So we did try to do a little bit more. But I do, to your point, I do agree that in the red zone, where it was kind of like, all right, we know we have an advantage. We know they are not going to kick. They cannot kick. Their punter can't do it. So let's get what we can and get the W. And if that was true fact, you know what? I mean, that's kind of smart. Knowing your team, knowing the situation. Our defense is having problems stopping them.
Right.
Our offense can get down the field but can't score. Let's capitalize on what we can do. And Austin Seibert got himself a job for sure.
Yeah.
So, but Will, let's flip it over, because to that point, we were in the red zone 6 times, not one touchdown, Will. You're right. We had over 400 yards. We had, I think, 22 first downs. 2 weeks in a row, we have over 20 first downs. Great. We, again, win the time of possession, Will. Why the heck is it only 21-18 with 7 field goals? You know what I mean? Like, talk to me.
Well, I mean, they talk about the league defenses. This is from the 20 to the 20. They'll give you something, and then everybody just seems to recognize, unless they can get an initial stop early or a sack early, that really puts an offense in 2nd and long, 3rd and long. You're kind of playing a bend but don't break defense. Most of the league is, and so I mean, this is normal. I think. We got a quarterback. We got a rookie quarterback who, like, that field shrinks now. Things get a whole lot tighter. His lanes just got a whole lot tighter. If you notice with Jaden, he does not. Can't say he doesn't want to make a mistake, because no player does. He refuses to make a mistake out there and throw a bad ball. He would rather get sacked or run it than force something. So, right now things are probably a whole lot tighter than what he's used to, and he's not seeing what he likes. And so, we're not getting in at the moment, but to me, it's only week 2. I know it's going to be something that they're going to continue to work on. If we're 3 more weeks from now, we're still having this problem. Now we got a problem. Now we got a trend. It was just this one game where we weren't able to, but let's also remember, none of the rookie quarterbacks have thrown a touchdown pass this year.
Very true. Very true.
There's a learning curve to this.
Oh yeah. Oh, and look, there absolutely is, and I think there is a point to that he does not want to make a mistake, and we got to give him credit for not. There are no turnovers. We've seen Bo Nix had multiple interceptions, and we've seen Caleb struggling, and all these other guys. Jaden Daniels has not had any turnovers. He has had fumbles, but even this game, he got that together. Yeah. My thing is, if we look on that one play that you sent in, it was on Twitter where they said Jaden Daniels, where he ran, the one where he got hit in the ribs. When you see the play from the blimp view, you see Ertz wide open underneath. Now, I know that's not the deep ball or whatever, but you got to take what the defense gives you. And now, obviously, in hindsight, it's 2020, and you see what happened on it, because when he did start running initially, you're like, oh, here you go. But then once he gets stood up and exposed himself, now just that quickly, you see how quickly it can change. So I've seen a lot of that. Even there was a lot of times where he got sacked in the red zone, where you have a guy underneath, get the ball out to him and let him. I mean, if we're going to play safe and conservative, okay, great. Let's get it to him. Get these guys a chance to do it, because as we've seen, our running backs can make plays. Ertz can get it, in that spot. Utilize your tight ends. So again, and this is nitpicking, because like you said, through the 20 and 20, he looks amazing. There are certain times in this game where you're just looking at him like, oh, yeah, baby, we got something. But it's just that efficiency in the red zone. 0 of 6 in the red zone. Well, I just I can't go for that, man.
Right. No, he's got some evolving to be done. You know, one of the things I get nervous about when he runs, it's not the first tackle. It's if he gets stood up, the next guy that comes in, the hit he's not expecting, you know, so that's where I think he's got to be careful. We talked about that play, you know, that he ran on instead of throwing to Zach Ertz, where it's like, you know, look at what's happened during the game. I know Zach Ertz isn't the fastest guy out there anymore, but like your running backs are breaking tackles. Like you can give them a 5-yard throw and let them do their thing. And you know, we can get the ball down where we need to. To your point, he needs to be willing to take that underneath sometimes. But here's the part that's really going to kick you on that play. I didn't know this until I was listening to a pod, but so Dan Quinn was talking about it on Monday. He's like, he's you know, we're working with him on when he gets out of the pocket, he needs to pick his head up and look.
Right.
Because on that play that he could have thrown to Zach, that he kept the ball, Luke McCaffrey got wide open for a 50 yards downfield. He was open. He could have just slung it and it would have been a touchdown. But he started running and started looking ahead. And so they're working on it. And you know, it makes me feel good that the coaches are seeing this enough to work on, you know, know what he needs to work on. But like Dan Quinn was saying, we gotta get him to let that loose.
Yeah. No,
let it rip is what he says. That's his. So in the new phrase for this coaching staff, last coaching staff was position flex. Dan Quinn is let it rip.
Let it rip. I like that. Yeah. Brings me back to the old days. The Ripper, Mark Rippon.
Yes.
Let's go, baby. Bring back that glory, man. So look, you got any more negatives for the offense? I'm gonna go easy on them.
The offensive line. I mean, part of you talked about why we had struggles in the red zone. Yeah. It wasn't the holding penalties that we had. It was concentration. It was false starts. It was excitements. We kept derailing ourselves. You know, we were looking to go for it on 4th down, and then Ben Sinnott, you know, has a false start, and now we're at 4th and 6, and we're kicking a field goal. You know, so the offensive line, you know, they weren't bad. I don't think it's worth ripping them about, but they had little penalties that, you know, and just like last year's team, we can't take little penalties. We can't overcome them very much right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So the offensive line did not have their best day. They did a great job run blocking. Pass blocking was okay. We still gave up 5 sacks. So not the best job pass blocking, but the biggest thing is they have to clean up the concentration penalties.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 10 total penalties for 69 yards. So got to get that stuff under wraps. Nathan, thank you for joining us. Am I crazy or did Will move?
I am in a different location tonight. You are correct. And Nathan, you came in just a little bit later because I just shouted you out with what our identity was. I thought of you when I was talking about that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely got to get at Nathan, man. Apparently he wants to let go of his coach. So
yeah. I can't believe they're 0-2.
Oh, man.